Other football day, Draft Drafters. It's Dan, it's JP, and the World Cup is upon us, and America gets rolling. Well, it was
Isn't this just
yesterday.
isn't this like the round robin stuff? It doesn't really start until like the 23rd, does it?
No, this is the group stage. This definitely counts. You've got to win games now if you want to get into the knockouts. That's why I'm wearing my Buddy Christ America shirt. Your beer goes everywhere. Oh my goodness, that was spectacular. That little yelp as the beer started just doing its thing it's one of my favorite things. Summertime, a little bit of the what everyone else around the world calls football, and JP having a beer kind of explode on him just a little bit.
Here's the thing. We were talking for 10 minutes before we even hit. This has been sitting here. I'm fully convinced. I thought it was only like a Huma thing. Yeah. There's something just overall. I know it for certain. There's something with IPAs with the temperature that I keep my fridge is like 1 degree above freezing. Right?
That's true.
Because I want the coldest beer imaginable. And I'm telling you, because I've tested this, I'll put from the same 6-pack or 12-pack or whatever, excuse me, it's how you burp when you chug a bunch of foam, as it turns out.
Exactly, because that was all air.
Yeah. So
flavored air.
I'll take a beer from the 6-pack and put it in the upstairs fridge. And then I'll take a beer and put it in the downstairs fridge. The upstairs one opens like a normal beer should. The downstairs one's a fucking firework. Sorry.
It's the extra 5-degree temperature difference from your fridge upstairs to the fridge downstairs.
The fridge upstairs is set at 35. The one down here is at 33. That's a big difference, apparently.
I guess. Apparently. And that is spectacular. I really enjoy this. So we're going to have to keep watching your beers to see if we can do our science experiment.
Did you think our 2-minute intro today was going to be about beer fireworks and me ranting and doing science?
Well, dude, the intro was supposed to be talking about the biggest sporting event in the world. No apologies to American football. We think it's huge here. But soccer or football in the rest of the world is the biggest sport, and billions of people will be watching America try not to screw up.
Curious question. Fast forward like beyond our lifetime, probably, right?
Oh, okay.
What happens? Because like we know in our lifetime, there's going to be NFL teams in Europe and
they're
Mexico
wanting to.
And Canada,
right?
Yeah, but that someday, it's going to be like a worldwide sport too. Like, do you think they catch each other?
No. As far as the popularity between the two, you got to remember the biggest difference.
Like fast forward like 100 years from now, I feel like it could.
The two biggest reasons why I don't see that happening, as of our knowledge base right now, is one, the travel is still ridiculous because when you see countries that play, soccer all over the place, even those teams, even when they travel for like European competitions, it's still within Europe, which, reminder for everybody who's not from America, Europe and America are roughly the same size. And you've got 30 some odd, 45 countries in Europe, whereas we've got, one country. So one, the travel needs to get fixed. So you have to get to where a flight to Berlin feels like a flight to San Francisco from New York. And it doesn't right now, right?
But
and
we already,
time zones, things like that.
The Lions play in Germany
one game.
Too,
but if you're going to base a team over there and then travel back and forth and have teams doing all of that, that is going to be a lot. And the players aren't going to want to do it.
Yes,
and so you've got to convince a team that is willing to be based over there that they're going to have to be doing all the back and forth travel as well, or you're going to have to schedule them specifically to have certain blocks, etc. That's one piece. The other thing is football is a hell of a lot more expensive than soccer. There's a reason why there's a phrase. I don't know if you ever heard this phrase before, but jumpers for goalposts. You ever heard that before?
No.
It's basically a phrase that means you're using your jackets as the goal lines, and all you need is a ball. To play soccer, you need a ball.
Yeah.
To play baseball, you need a ball and a stick, right? And so that's why those sports have popularity in parts of the world where it isn't funded as well. So to get American football in other parts of the world is going to be a lot more expensive.
Football and hockey
too
requires some gear.
Well, And hockey doesn't just require gear. At least in
Requires
part of
ice.
the world. Yeah, exactly. Part of the world, nature gives you a place to play hockey. But I mean, you can play football, American football, anywhere around the world as far as the field goes. But can't play hockey. You're not playing hockey in Kenya. I'm sorry, man. Not without a stadium dedicated for that. You're not just going to walk out on a January morning and start skating. It's not going to happen.
Hockey's fantastic, but I don't want to talk
hockey
about
is
hockey.
fantastic. Well,
Not.
see, that's
No.
the thing. We're going to have 2 rants today, along with all of this.
I already know where it's going now.
One of your rants, the rant that
I already
you're going to
had
have.
a rant about beer.
Well, the rant that you're going to have. Okay, you know what? I'll let you wait till the next episode then if you want to, since we're spoiler, recording both of these today. So, some point in this, you get to give your piece about Dylan Larkin and the Red Wings, even though it's not football related. There's enough people. And at some point, I will be weighing in with you. We're both going to give our perspective on the whole Brendan Sorsby thing and the hilariousness that's going on with that. But I'm not going to get there yet. What I want before we get into the actual show that we're doing today is World Cup prediction. Who's winning it?
Oh. Well, spoiler alert, I always root for, the home team
rooting
and
interest.
then Germany.
America,
Those are always
yeah.
my two rooting interests. Yours is...
You're America, Germany. Look, I'm America and New Zealand, and then England.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Irish aren't here.
See, and I would probably say America, Germany, and the Netherlands.
Oh, yeah, I like the Dutch, too. Dutch are top 5 for me. As far as who I'm
who's going to win it? Oh, man. Probably France.
The French, yeah. If the French should win it. I mean,
England's
Spain is
got
the other
a
one
good
that everyone's
team
got.
Too.
England has a good team, but they have people questioning the coach and who he brought over, and they always seem to, fall to the moment, so to speak. So that's they have the historical hump to get over. Kind
We
of like
should
the Knicks
do
trying to win the NBA.
We're gonna have to do a bracket bet, make a bet.
Oh yeah, we will. And we're early enough in this to where I think we can still get away with it. Because again, tonight, USA playing Paraguay. I'd love to see the Americans get a win. I feel like they should be able to get a win to start things off. But USA, real quick. I know we'll do the brackets later.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll say your initial thoughts on what the ceiling is. Where do you think the Americans can end up? I think they're going to make the knockouts.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about
for sure.
the round of 16 being it. I think they have a legit chance at the quarterfinals. I also think they have a chance of not even making it out of their group because there's such a up and down team this year.
I don't know. I can see the quarters.
Yeah, I feel like that's the ceiling for them, though.
That's the ceiling. I can see it, but
which is unfortunate.
It's the here this year, right?
Oh yeah, yes, it is very much here, Mexico and Canada. So
yeah, it's in North America, so you have home field advantage.
The unintended humor that's now being driven by social media and the fact that everybody can comment on whatever they want has led to an amazing amount of people on social media from Europe talking about America and American things that they can't fathom because they don't have them in Europe. Like, a shake that has a cupcake in it or whatever, and people going to Waffle House for the first time. Basically, it's a lot of jokes about the South and the Midwest. So I'm very much in on that. If you haven't been following it, there's just pretty spectacular people out there giving their take on Europeans coming to America. Really enjoying that, which will be even more of a thing if we somehow end up with, NFL teams over in Europe and coming back and forth to bring it full circle on your whole plan.
Yep.
All that to say, if we have more teams overseas, there's going to be more players that need to be picked by these teams, which means more for us to do. Which takes us to our topic for today.
But wait, I was going to say this. All these bets we do on the show, we need to cash them out on the show. I don't know how we would do it here in front of the computer, but it's like, but no. Because I was saying switch it up. Remember when we played with the water wheel bet where there's 30 different ways to get water thrown in your face.
Yeah.
It'd be sweet to do. And then you have to do the episode wet or something if you're the loser on it. It'd be fun. I just don't know.
I'm in on that.
I have to put a little rubber mat below my
Yeah, well, no, we'd save those for when we're in person because it's way more fun that way.
Oh, so
yes, we would
tally them up, and then on the show, I get to do 7 different ways of throwing water at your face.
Good Lord, and we'd have to get creative with that. Yeah,
this sounds fun. We let them pile up until the first time until we do the live show, and basically Dan's gonna go to a water park.
If we're doing that, we're definitely doing it in the summertime.
Ooh, it'd be even more fun in the winter to watch you
Yeah,
shiver
well,
and
for
shake
you.
during a show. Yeah.
Let's not do that. All right.
All right.
Meanwhile,
10 minutes
12
later.
minutes in, 10 minutes later, yeah, we are looking at 2027, at the next 2026-27 football season. Are just starting to dive into all of that. Obviously, other shows out there will be doing summer scouting, stuff like that. We're going to get into some of that as we go. But right now, you brought this up. We are going to look at, both in college and pro over the next 2 weeks, teams and players and position groups specifically. Now, for college, where is the strength of this draft, right? That's what we're looking at. So we are going to rank them. We're ranking the positional groups on offense and defense. Today, it'll be offense. Do you want to start at 6 or at 1?
That's what I was going to say. I think we start from the bottom and work our way up.
Start from the bottom. What is the weakest position group, in your opinion, coming into this draft?
Dude, I have a weakest position. I think we need to also say, do we think it'll stay this position?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. I don't think my weakest position will stay the weakest.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll explain why as I get into it. But my weakest positional group, the way we do it at 6, is the interior offensive line.
Agreed.
So before I even explain why, I'll say the reason it could change and likely will change is just because throughout the season, especially me,
half of your tackles,
my tackles end up getting kicked inside, and all of a sudden you got some depth there. So yes, and I'm sure some interior linemen will emerge as well.
Sure.
But with that being said, you, sir, last week asked me to do a top 32, right?
I did.
And I did that, which we're not getting into today.
No.
But of my top 32, at 29, I have my first interior lineman and the only one in the top 32. And some people consider him a tackle, and that's Caden Green from Missouri. But, dude, so that's the biggest thing, and I do think he'll be interior line, but he's, some are calling him tackle for now.
Well, Caden Green is our latest edition of I will have him at tackle until he gets proven otherwise, and you will have him at guard until he gets proven otherwise.
Yes. But, I sit here and I look at this group, though, and even the players that I do like a fair amount, they're all centers, man, which I get it. Sure. They're totally in part of this interior offensive line because until the draft rolls around, I don't break out guards and centers.
Right.
But it's just weird because tackles go before guards go before centers, and it seems like all the depth in this early on appears to be at, I guess, the lesser of the 3, if you will.
Right.
So,
and again, not saying these guys can't also play guard, because a lot of centers will sometimes move around once you get to the next level too. But it's usually the other way around. Usually it's teams trying to take guards and make them centers, not centers and make them guards.
Yeah, because I even last year I liked Lalulu.
Yeah.
Center. I kind of like Hatchet as well. I don't know if we're going into players that we were looking at.
We can gloss over a few of them. I mean, Tangsdal's guy from Cincinnati that's on my list. So, I mean, yeah, it's very odd with the way this group currently is shaking out. Where like last year, even you had some guys that felt like they were the ones leading the pack. And yes, I think Laulu feels like the top guy right now. I think Piper is right there too with Iowa.
Caden Green.
Caden Green, right? Caden Green, if you have him as an interior guy, right? But that's the whole point. It's like this position group does not feel. The cool thing is there's a lot of potential for this to be one. It's kind of, this group could feel like I felt about D-line last year, where there's not a ton of high end quality, but there's probably going to be a ton of guys going between rounds 3 and 5 potentially.
You know what's crazy? Right now I got roughly about 11 key guys on the interior, if you will, I'm looking into.
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 11 are all Big Ten.
A little bias there. There's also 18 teams. So, there's a lot of guys there. Makes sense.
That's true.
And no, I do have a solid handful of Big Ten guys in there as well, so I understand that. And that's just kind of the nature of how things go, right? I mean, you're going to have a lot of guys from the bigger conferences, but yeah, saying that now, there's only like 5 or 6 SEC guys that I got on my whole list right now.
I have 3 from the SEC, 7 from the Big Ten, 1 from the Big 12.
Right, and that's in your top 12. I'm looking like down to 30 that I've got
Oh yeah.
right now. So if I don't actually have all of my rankings done yet. I do have the names in there. I just have yet to sort them all out. But I think what we've learned, we don't need to belabor the point. There are a couple of bright spots, but there's a lot more question marks when it comes to the interior offensive line group. What's fifth for you?
5 spot, man. I bet you people about the majority, I guess, to have this position maybe a little higher, but 5 I have tight end. I don't know.
Dude, same here.
You have tight end at 5 as well?
Yeah.
So
there's a couple fun names, but there's a nope.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I do have 2 in my top 32 that came in at 30 and 31. And that's Trey'Dez Green, LSU, and Jamari Johnson from Oregon in that respective order. And there's some other names I like as well, just not.
I like Terrence Carter Jr., but again,
just
I
not
have
enough
one
to
in my
put 'em
top
way up
33.
there.
Yeah.
I put them both in there. But I guess the thing for me with this position is I like both those guys a lot, and I flashed a lot of potential, but they just haven't like done it fully yet. Like, it's not like a Bowers where since the guy's his first
But
play,
even a Warren Loveland
at Georgia, I'm like, oh my god, yeah. But Loveland, he was huge to us because he was the home team and we saw him. But I mean,
fair.
most people were extremely late to the game on Loveland because
Right.
he didn't have the production of the stats or anything like
'Cause he
that
didn't
because
have the
Michigan
offense for
couldn't
it.
throw the damn ball. They
That
could
was
not
dark
throw
times.
the ball. But you could see when he was utilized as a receiving threat, he was a beast. You know what I mean? But you obviously saw the size, the strength, the athleticism, the blocking, like everything. So we knew, but I feel like everyone else was late to that party. But I feel like that's actually, I'm glad you bring that up. This kind of sort of feels, for different reasons, a class of potential, like maybe Colston Lovelands, where a lot of people are going to be later to the parties. Because, I mean, it's not like Green or Johnson like set the world on fire with some of their stats. I know Green had like 7 touchdowns, but these guys were like 500 yards and like 30 receptions. I mean,
yeah, I'm pulling up the list right now. Johnson had 32 catches, 500 yards, and then Green had 33 for 433. And again, the 7 touchdowns for Green. But Dorian Thomas and Terrence Carter Jr. were the 2 leading the country at 55 and 56 catches. And they're the only 2 over 50 catches. So this is a wide open sort of area for somebody to step up and jump into.
Yeah, and you could have some guys come out of absolutely nowhere, like I don't know, maybe like a Lawson Lucky from Georgia. Georgia seems to always have decent tight ends going.
Yeah, well, we get tight ends that should be decent. I still don't think Oscar Delp is going to amount to a thing, but that's just personal preference.
I don't need. Well, there's a chance. He's a freak athlete. He's got the size and everything. He just didn't do everything.
If you're that freak of an athlete, what's taking so long? That's not a question. If you want to talk about guys I hope work out, guys like Rocky Beers, because the name is just spectacular. You have so much fun with him. But yeah, I've got 21 tight ends. Well, actually, I probably got about 28 tight ends on my list, and I'm not like blown away by hardly anybody in this list. There's
we have
no
the same,
Loveland Warren kind of thing.
We
have
both had the same too.
Back end. I'm quite curious to see how far this goes. Anything else on tight ends? I mean, I'm not trying to downplay the position and speed through things, but there's a few bright spots when you look at what we've got. And because the NFL has decided apparently tight ends are having a moment and now you need to have 3 on your roster at all times, some of these guys are going to get drafted higher than we probably think they should.
Sure.
But, I mean, and part of it, too, is going to be some of these guys that didn't have huge years last year have made, jump up in competition here and there. Like Brody Foley jumped up to Louisville. So what he can do will show you, where he's going to be at. Some of these other players that had different seasons at different levels, can they do the same when they're put into that type of situation where they're playing against the competition the closest they're going to see to the NFL? Should be fun. I will say this, though. The only, I believe, Temple Owl that I have in my entire listing is Peter Clark at tight end. So we got that. He's got that going for him, which is nice.
Wonder if I have more than one. I'll have to check towards the end.
There's not a lot.
We got some breaking news.
No,
we do not. We do not have breaking news. Psych.
It's
All right.
hockey related, and I know you don't want to talk about that right now. You're still too wounded on that.
Yep.
How about 4?
4, this is where it started. You had to really, like, I felt like it was pretty easy for me to put the interior line and tight end down in the bottom 2. But this is where I had to start thinking about it. And, like, it's tough, but I stand by what I decided. I put running back. And it's not because it's you did? Mm-hmm. But, like, when you think about it,
there's so many fun running backs, but
this is a infinitely better running back class than last year, assuming all these guys come out. Okay, so we're early to this. All these could change by the time the draft
I will tell you this.
Any position.
The one position group that I feel more comfortable with believing these guys will come out is running back because of the length of the career. Like, that's the one position that if you believe you're going to get drafted at any decent level, you're going to come out. And the flip side of that is if you're going to get $3 million to stay in school, which I don't think running backs are getting that much. I think running backs might be getting $1 million. At tops at most places. But still, if you're going to get $1 million, maybe you stay in school another year, even though you know it's hurting your future earning in the NFL. I don't know, man.
But the wild thing is with this position, though, is like, it's a cliff from the top 4 to 5, because I had one interior O lineman at the top 32, right? And admittedly, I probably only have one running back, but that's more so because of the position.
Right. Not because of the skill level.
You got Ahmad Hardy, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody knows who listens to the show knows that I love Waymon Jordan, right?
Right.
So those two I really like. But dude, you got Jordan Marshall, go blue, Michigan. Mm-hmm. You've got Lacey, Kewan Lacey. You've got Nate Frazier. You've got Hollywood Smothers, L.J. Martin, Raleek Brown,
Mark Fletcher.
Mark Fletcher from Miami. He's really good. Dude, even some of these smaller school transfers, Cameron Edwards, UConn, I think he came from UConn because that's why I know his name. Sadly, he went to MSU. But, I mean,
you got my boy Cam Cook that was playing at Jacksonville State and grinding out yards. Now he's up at West Virginia. And then, there's also, who else was it that I was looking at? I think Caleb Hawkins was one of the migrating players from North Texas to Oklahoma State. So
I have some mild interest in, and I don't know why, but I have mild interest in Darius Taylor from Minnesota. I mean, he only rushed for 600 yards and 4.7, so awful. But I just remember having a note on him being there's some things that I'm curious about. He just hasn't done it yet. I mean, hell, there's a whole group for that too. I mean, C.J. Baxter was supposed to be a beast for Texas, and he's with Kentucky now.
Sure, I mean, Quintravian Wisner down at Florida State, but yeah. Dude, there are so many, and this is the flip-flop between that and tight end, right? Tight end, there's a bunch of guys, none of which I'm that intrigued by at this point.
Yep.
Running back, there's so many guys I'm intrigued by, but there's a small handful that I feel confident in.
Yeah, and hell, and one of them really like Jeremiah Cobb too. He's been a name that's floating around for a couple years for us now.
Right,
but it's crazy because he's still only 21.
Yeah, it's weird with some of these players, man. But even the fact that I think Hardy's still recovering from the gunshot wound. He should be fine by the time the season rolls around. Yep. But that's another question mark in there. And so there's and again, Hollywood Smothers. How much run does he get at Texas with what they've put together on that offense? It could be huge for him. He could have some suppressed.
He's being a timeshare for sure. Yeah,
right. Which could be great for him for the health going forward. But yeah. That's one of those things that's going to make life very interesting for how some of these guys are going to rack up their stats too. So overall, though, again, there are a lot of very interesting running backs, and we didn't even talk about Justice Haynes, who left Michigan because he wanted to be at what do you say, a more balanced offense or something or whatever. Yeah. He was making some stuff up to transfer out, probably because he knew he was going to lose carries to Hitter.
Hyder,
is that how we say his name?
That's how I guess I've always heard it pronounced.
I will say whatever he wants me to say.
I mean, we just found out that ETN's A-chain, which muddies everything up because there is an actual A-chain. So,
there's an A-chain and there's an E-chain.
Yeah.
Yay for pronunciations, but yeah. I mean, it's gonna be wild trying to figure out all the names as we go through the season, anyways. But running back does feel like a position that has a lot of potential. You could move up in the list depending on how things shake out. There are some strong positions ahead of them, but so far so good. Before we get to those strong positions, though, I gotta know about that foamy beer you've been drinking. How does that finish in here? Because again, you are going to do, since we're doing two shows, you're going to do a little side by side as we go through both shows. But talk about this first one first for me.
So I picked up. I gotta see if I've had this before.
I feel like you probably have had that one.
It's so I picked up the Bell's Two Hearted variety pack, which is
Sure.
only like a half variety pack. You know, usually you get the variety packs and they'll give you like three or four different. Yeah, this is a variety pack that gives you 6 Two Hearteds.
Uh-huh.
And then you get 3 of the other 2 flavors. So I'm only talking about the other 2 because I've talked about Two Hearted on the show.
Most people know Two Hearted by now.
Yeah. But I'm just checking real quickly to see if I've had this beer. And
I feel like you have.
I have.
Really? Because which one is this one?
Whoa. Oh, yeah. I haven't. Well, it threw me off because when you look it up on Untapped, they have a Change of Heart experimental black IPA that came out last year. They also have the Change of Heart. Yeah, my can, this is what's throwing me off, says Change of Heart IPA. It's a New Zealand style IPA.
So now I'm
but there's
starting to
one on
think-
here that says East Coast style IPA, but then when you read it, it says double New England hazy.
Right, which fits the East
But
Coast.
there is one that says New Zealand style IPA, so I think that's...
So is Change of Heart
one.
like Bell's experimental thing that they make a different Change of Heart every year or something?
There's a lot
and then
of
you have
them.
to, or maybe Change of Heart is their like, we're going to screw around label, and then you just have to follow the style of beer. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I'm going to check into this one now. I think I'm going to give it a 3.25.
Okay, that's respectable.
It's solid. Like, I would drink this again. Like, wouldn't have any complaints. If I really like the other one, which we'll find out on the next episode, then maybe I'd buy this variety pack again for sure because I love regular Two Hearted.
Yeah, you're gonna drink Two Hearted with no problem. So yeah.
But I guess what I would say is this one, in New England style IPA, right? Is this one, not all the other millions of versions of this. But it's very. I get the piney that I like. I get the dry that I like. It just feels like it's kind of light. It's kind of light.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Not
like,
wrong.
It's not a heavy IPA by any means. There is the bitter that I like in there. Like it just, I don't know. I don't know why the light is stopping me from giving it like a 3.5 or so, but it just feels a little lighter. But I do enjoy it. I like it. I'm not mad about it at all. Like, would I say it's better than regular Two Hearted? No, I would not. I'll be curious to see how it compares to the other one based on the style of beer it is and what I think. I would think that I would like this one better than the Smash Hearted that I'll have on the next episode.
We'll see. Foreshadowing there for you.
Yeah.
Well, I decided to go with an IPA as well, and I grabbed the Conflict of Interest from Griffin Claw.
You've been buying those ever since I gave you that little 4-pack variety pack thing.
Well, and so part of it is they've got some fun ideas. Also, I'm a sucker for good can art, right? But so this one is this is a New England style IPA. It's 6%. It says a juicy beer that opens with big fruity notes on the nose, follows the tropical linger of Nelson Sauvin hops. So it is a little more in the fruity and tropical. It doesn't have the floral tropical that you don't like. So it's a pretty easy drinker. It fits in that 3.25 range as well. It is easy to drink. It's pleasant. It's fine. It's not as dynamic as I like it to be. And that's really what happens for me is like when you're drinking anything, beer, bourbon, whatever, you like to have those layers of flavors. And this one's just kind of a good one note. Not wrong, not bad, still good.
Yeah, that's kind of how mine is too. Because like the note I get is the piney hoppy, but when I like the dryness, the lightness, it's kind of like the dry, light, flat. Like those are more like mouthfeel things rather than tasting notes. Like it just tastes like a hoppy, piney IPA. That's
sure. Well, so I think what we both figured out is the one thing that I think for me at least, I believe the thing that would make this better for both of us, both our beers, is if it was like we were out in the sun golfing. These beers might taste better.
Yes.
And there's something about
100%.
this kind of beer. And it's interesting because I was actually at Meijer yesterday looking for different beers, and that's where I found a little 8.4 ounce Sierra Nevada Pils beer
Oh,
that I
yeah,
tried yesterday,
so,
which is it was very much a Pilsner. Stepdad was coming over with mom for dinner last night, so we decided to get something that he would be fine drinking because he's more of that style of beer drinker. And it was so hilariously cute, these little 8.4 cans. But as I was looking around for it, there was a guy who had the Emerald IPA from New Holland, the Dragon's
mhm.
Milk, in his
Love
hand.
that one.
Looking at that, I told him, I was like, dude, that's a good one, but that is an experience. You got to be ready for it because it's a good beer.
It's good.
But it's the opposite of these guys, which are very straightforward, very easy, very nice to crush in the sun or whatever. That Emerald was like a full on experience that you needed to be ready for, and that had a whole lot more going on. It was probably better suited for a campfire than a hot day in the sun, so to speak. Not you probably could have handled that. Most other people can't. But the reason
I
why
like the Emerald IPA. It's good.
it was very good. I enjoyed it. But one of the reasons why I chose conflict of interest today is because of the conflict of interest that's going on in college football right now.
Oh, geez. Here's his rant.
Well, it's for both of us because it does warrant a discussion because I'd like to know where you land on all of this stuff, and it's fun for those of you who haven't been paying attention. And my goodness, if you're listening to our show and you haven't been paying attention, then sorry. We'll recap it quickly for you. Brennan Sorsby went to Texas Tech this year for probably $4 or $5 million after playing at Cincinnati Fuse before that, after playing in Indiana for a year or two before that, all the while gambling, which, yes, gambling is a thing. Yes, I do believe gambling addictions are a thing. You get hooked on winning or trying to recover your losses, whatever. However, the man is basically getting away with cheating right now, and with maybe not
Yep.
cheating, maybe it's a bit too strong. He's getting away with gambling. He's getting away with doing something.
He's getting
that
away
has
with some stuff.
Been against the rules. It's been against the rules since forever. And you can sit back and say, well, why are they the rules? It's like, because they're the rules. And yes, what we've learned is that the NCAA actually can't enforce any rule at the rate we are going currently with our legal system, because everyone will go and challenge it with a judge somewhere in their backyard. And as I sent you the message, I like that the NCAA is appealing this, because this is something that does need to get solved. Regardless of how this all gets solved, it needs to get solved. And it's getting appealed to the district court in Amarillo, which has 4 judges sitting on it, who all 4 have Texas Tech degrees, which is just hilarious. Which I didn't realize Texas Tech had that big of a law school, but there you go.
How do you think they've been buying teams, man?
I guess, right? But that's the thing. What it really comes down to is this is not, in my opinion, just about Texas Tech, just about Brendan Sorsby. Maybe the kid does have a literal addiction he's working through. That sucks. Yes, I want him to get better. However, him getting better doesn't mean he has to play football next year. That's the thing that people are trying to work around. And again, most of the NCAA is mad. A lot of the teams are mad. People talking about boycotting, whatever. And of course, Texas Tech now is saying, we're just trying to support him. Their mega booster, Cody Campbell, is not trying to play the whataboutism. Oh, if this was LSU, no one would care. Or it's not like it's murder or whatever. People are throwing out all of these qualifiers to try to feel better about the fact that they're just mad that they got caught. Because again, Sorsby has been doing this for years, illegally, because he was underage for some of it. And only got found out, not because he said, hey guys, I want to come clean now that I'm going to my last year of college. He got found out because he got caught. And again, this isn't...
He would still be doing it.
I'm admitting it. Exactly. He would still be doing it right now if he hadn't gotten caught. He moved to a state in Texas where it is illegal to do this, and he still ran money through other people to do this. So that's my problem with all of this, is that you're trying to spin this so that your team gets an advantage because you already paid for this kid to come play football for you. And anyone at Texas Tech would be throwing
he
a fit
already
if
gambled
it was,
away the money. Sorry,
right, probably, right? but anyone at Texas Tech would be complaining like everyone else in college football if it was any other school except for that school. And so what it really comes down to is hypocrisy, like we've always known is real, is alive and well in this situation. Brendan Sorsby is somehow in position to play football where, yes, I believe that he isn't going to be incentivized to bet on his teams in the future. Apparently, he hasn't bet on any game that he was in, which points to him, I suppose, for integrity at some level. But the fact that we have now opened this up to where anyone who gambles has a precedent, if this doesn't get overturned, which I would like to see it get overturned out of just sheer decency. But if this doesn't get overturned, now we have a precedent set where anyone can try to find a judge to agree with them on what they're doing and can claim addiction, whatever, and get out of gambling. and get out of taking money from somewhere. And yes, I'm doing the slippery slope theory if we're going off into ridiculousness. I understand that. However, integrity at all levels, which has already been an issue because of the way people try to game every system they ever get to because nobody just wants to play fair, is now out the window if this continues because there's no more guardrails. Rules are there, whether you like them or not, to try to keep a game within a certain parameter. If we didn't have rules in football, people would be carrying weapons out there. This takes me back to the days of Mutant League football,
Ooh,
if you ever played that on Sega
remember?
Genesis, when you could get the refs to call penalties on the other team for crying and stuff, right? Be like, are we bribing
What
officials
was that?
next?
I remember when I was a young lad,
Ah, yes.
there was a movie, a football movie. I think it had one of the Wayans brothers or something in it, but
geez.
they're running in the opening like scene to the movie. It's a football game at night game, and the running back or somebody with the ball in their hands is sprinting towards to get a touchdown, and somebody's coming up to tackle him. And he pulls a gun out and shoots him, and then proceeds to get the touchdown. I was like,
okay,
whoa.
yeah. So one of those parody movies, I'm hoping, right? But that's the thing. It's like
I don't know. I think it was. I don't know.
We're gonna have to look that up another time. But that's my point. Yeah, and again, that's obviously the farcical, ridiculousness of where this isn't gonna necessarily end up. I don't believe that weapons are ever gonna end up on a football field, in like an actual try to be used in the game. But this is my point. It's like the where we're heading with the sport needs to be reined in. The problem that we have now, as I've said forever and a day, because the NCAA doesn't want to actually put the right structure in place and wants Congress to take care of it for them. One, Congress can't do anything anyways. Two, now you're going to be beholden to whoever's going to influence Congress with this kind of stuff, and it's going to be a mess. But at this point, I'd take a mess with rules than whatever Wild West ridiculousness we're dealing with right now. What movie did you come up with?
It's called The Last Boy Scout.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, that's not what I was thinking it would be. All right.
I'm sending you the opening scene. It's 4 minutes long. You'll have to watch it after this episode.
I guess, right? But that's my point. So to get back down to it, I am very curious to see how this all plays out.
Oh,
it does seem...
the opposing team was wearing Chicago Bear helmets. So
so you're already on board with someone getting shot.
Well, no.
I know. But yeah. But that's my point. So where this gets interesting is how this all plays out, because it's going to go to an appeals court. The other thing that I found really fun, by the way, is this judge. The whole reason why this is a thing right now is because this judge gave a temporary injunction, which I am fine with the concept of a temporary injunction on anything because, okay, you know what? Let's not make this happen until we hear this case. Sure, that's fine. However, do you know the date that they picked for the actual case to be heard on this whole thing? February 7 or 8 of 2027. Conveniently, 2 weeks after the regular season gets done for college, or after the playoff season, the entirety of college season gets done, at which point the entire thing will be moot because he will have played the whole year and getting ready for the NFL anyways. So if you're going to have an injunction, no, that's my point. If you're going to have an injunction, it needs to be, the case needs to be heard before the thing that it's going to matters. Like that right there is just a problem with the judicial system, which is a whole other can that other podcasts can handle besides us. But I'm curious to see what happens with this appeal. The state attorney general of Texas is already threatening legal action if anyone tries to, basically keep Sorsby from playing. All of this could have been fixed if Texas Tech would have just said, you know what? You made a mistake, kid. We are going to help you through this program. We are not going to let you play football, but we are going to help you recover. That is what should have happened. That's not going to happen because Texas Tech doesn't benefit from that. And I'm not trying to be higher than that. I've made plenty of mistakes in my life. But that's what should happen. But humans suck, as we all know, and this is where we're at.
I was paying attention to all that, and yes, that was the scene. I had to fast forward to it. It's towards the end. It's crazy.
I'm glad we got there for you.
Yeah.
The real question is, where do you fall on all of this? What's your take on this whole
It's absolute it's shenanigans, like I mean, on one hand, this is a young kid still, right?
Yeah, but
mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made.
Like, give him a second chance type thing. Then you've also got the other hand where it's like, to your point, he got caught. He didn't come out and try to be clean about this.
Mm-hmm.
So there needs to be some sort of repercussions, if you
which
will.
they
You know
think
what I mean?
is 2 games. 2-game suspension for the thing
Yeah, and
that
I don't
other
know.
players
I don't know where I
have
lie
been banned
with
for
that,
life on.
Yeah.
This is not without precedent. Other players have been banned forever. They just didn't go to
Yeah, and
court to try to overturn it.
I guess I disagree with both of those. I'm not going to say it's in the middle, but it's definitely it's not 2 games, and it's not a lifetime ban either. You know,
I mean,
so
for his
I
case,
don't,
it's the whole season, so it'd be the end of his career. But that's the
yeah.
point. It's like it always has been. If you bet on your sport, you're out. That has always been the rule until someone decided, but what if we tested it in court? Because again, it's a rule, not a law. That's the problem.
Mhm.
Everything in college football, everything in college sports is rules, not laws. And the unfortunate part is the people who make the laws right now, you can't trust to actually get things right anyways. So that's a whole other mess for another time. Which is
Yeah.
why we usually stick to sports, because you can argue about it. You can watch a movie where someone shoots a Chicago Bear and you can move on.
It looks like the Bears. It's like
Oh, wow.
it's the white.
It's just
I don't know. You'll see.
it's
You'll watch
making
the
you
clip.
happy.
Nah.
Not the shooting part, just the fact that
No.
it's happening to a team you don't like. All right, we got 3 more position groups to run through though here. Now that I've taken way too long on my rant, who's 3
did.
for you? What position group is 3 for you coming into this?
Whew, this is another tough one. And this positional group has 4 people in the top 32 board that I made for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I could even, it almost was 6, but I stuck with 4. It's wide receiver.
Oh, see, we disagree finally.
Aha. So
I have tackle
yeah.
at 4.
Okay. We'll see. I'll explain a tackle when I get there, and you can maybe defend wide receiver now, but they're both very good. I'm not upset. They could be flipped. I mean, right now, my number 1 overall player
Or 4,
is in
3.
this.
Tackles at 3. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Threw you off.
So
there. Continue.
Jeremiah Smith is currently my number 1 overall player in this draft.
Right.
So this positional group has the top player.
Mm.
But then I just feel like there's a little bit of a drop off, at least for now, because I go from Jeremiah Smith at number 1 overall. I don't have another wide receiver till 18, where I got Cam Coleman.
Yeah, that's where we disagree. I got Coleman a lot higher than that. I got Nick Marsh inside my top 18 as well.
I have KJ Duff at 20 and Nick Marsh at 21.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the 4 that made it. The 2 that were very close were Ryan Coleman Williams, and that's just based off potential because he's done fat nothing. And then I have Deuce Robinson as well, who is very close, who has done quite a bit, but doesn't seem to be getting love from many other people. But dude, there's so many other good wide receivers that we like. I mean, I know we both like Cooper Barkate,
Charlie Becker.
A lot of people like
the Great White Hopes.
Yep. Becker, Singleton. I mean, I feel like Eugene Wilson's been a prospect forever.
Marion Miller.
Don't know how. I like Ian Strong a decent amount as far as what he could maybe be.
Mm-hmm.
You love your boy Nick Harbor. Ryan Wingo's good.
Sure.
I mean,
look, Nick Harbor
some names
shouldn't even be classified as a wide receiver, though. He should just be classified as a freak of nature.
He should be on the next episode and be maybe playing like edge rusher or something.
Right? And seriously, you could put him anywhere on the field, and he's athletic enough to play anywhere, just about. But yeah. But again, we're not even talking about guys
Staley from Tennessee too.
Sure, yeah, Danny Scudero, who is getting a chance to play at a higher level at Colorado right now as a slot receiver. I mean, as usual, there is a wealth of wide receivers, and I've got 50 plus wide receivers on the list right now, which is insane because nowhere near all those are getting drafted. Yeah, there's nowhere near all these guys are getting drafted. But I mean, we haven't talked about like Eric Singleton getting moved over to Florida. And a lot of this is trying to figure out where guys play half of this season. But it's going to be very interesting because again, this is a group. I agree with you. I don't know outside of Jeremiah Smith, and Cam Coleman's 2 for me. But outside of Jeremiah Smith, I don't know that there's anybody that's going to be a super high end number 1. We'll see how the season goes. Right? Like Jeremiah Smith is God tier when it comes to what he's done so far in college. I see no reason why, especially his size, it's not going to translate to the NFL. He's one of the rare guys who could have gone to the NFL earlier. One of the very rare guys. Most players either aren't physically or mentally mature enough. He seems like he is, but he's such a rare case. He will be the first non-quarterback drafted next year, I have to believe. The only reason I'm saying non-quarterback is because of how
I think so.
System goes. It feels like that. Unless something crazy happens, that's where he's going to be. But again, even with the tier breaks, there's at least 15 to 20 wide receivers that I am very interested in this group this year, which is why I have wide receiver at 2 instead of 3. So I think I just feel a little better about where the tiers are as far as quality goes. Not necessarily, where the breaks are. I just think they're a little bit higher up on the list than you do. Now, again, I think we're splitting hairs between 2 and 3 to an extent, personally.
We are, but I guess the way I would explain, so my number 2 is offensive tackle. I obviously already know because I said we had him flip. So we just said, obviously, now everybody know who the number 1 is for offense.
We'll get there later.
But there's 2 reasons why I put tackle above wide receiver. Reason number 1, let me get this out of the way first. I also only have 4 in my top 32 for tackles, so tied with wide receiver, right?
Yeah, I know.
But wide receiver does have the number 1 overall player, but tackle, maybe it's just because it's more of a premium position to me and to almost everybody, but I have 3 of the tackles in my top 10, whereas my second wide receiver,
13.
Okay. Because I got Carter. I just put they're all back to back here for the top 3. Carter Smith, I have at 8, Austin Seyerveld at 9, and Trevor Locke at 10. And then I got Jordan Seaton down at 26.
Okay.
And there's still some other, both the Michigan tackles I'm interested in this year,
right.
Sprague and Frazier. Dude, a lot of people really like Gooseby. I think I got a soft spot, but I was a little cooler on him.
Gooseby and Jacarius Peak are both those guys that a lot of people seem to really like, and I'm not 100% sold on yet, but it could be very interesting.
Yeah, outside of my top 4, due to bias reasons, I'm pretty interested in both the Michigan guys. But dude, and then sadly, because I really don't like this school either. Sorry for fans of the school, but for whatever reason, I'm mildly interested in Nat from Notre Dame.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Look, anybody who knows, if you're from Michigan, you're not a huge fan of Notre Dame all the time.
Right. I forgot to get to my second point real quick, though. So there's 3. The first main point was 3 of the 4 tackles are in the top 10. Okay. Right. But then the second point is when I look at this tackle class, dude, I think I like the top 3 tackles in this class almost more than all the tackles in last year's class.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
So that was kind of like, damn. Yeah, I like Jeremiah Smith better than every wide receiver that was drafted last year, but I feel like the rest is just kind of maybe for right now in the same, field, if you will. Like there's probably some, like I do like Cam quite a bit, but we'll see, to be determined. Right now, I feel like I know that it could change, but I feel like I know that I like at least 2, if not 3 of these tackles better than everything from last year.
If you're comparing this year to last year, this is a better tackle class. There's no doubt. But I still don't think that the tackle class this year is better than the wide receiver class this year. As of June 12th.
Watch us both flip, where I end up saying wide receiver is better and you say tackle's better.
Look, it could be, but again, you got to remember one of my top tackles in the group in the top 5 is Caden Green of 5 of tackles, not overall. Is Caden Green, who you think is going to be a guard? So, I mean, again, I will say this for Caden Green: unlike other tackles that you force to be a guard because you just don't think they can do it at the next level, he was a guard at this level too. So we know he can play anywhere in the line. He can play 4 positions in the line without a problem. So. Now it's time to get to the number 1 spot. For those of you who haven't been paying attention, it's quarterback. This is such a departure from last year with the class, partially because at least 5 or 6 of these guys we had going out last year, and then they came back.
Yep. Yeah. Here's the crazy thing for me, and I'll just share, spoiler alert, it's the deepest position of any position, including defense, to me.
Well, so we usually see like 11 to 13 drafted. I feel like that's floor this year.
That's literally what I was going to say. I was going to say, like, the average is, I think, 13, right? What I did doing my board is I tried to get super ahead this year. So for the first time going into the season, I used those average drafted at every position and ranked it out through that by position, right? I couldn't stop at 13, so I went overboard. Dude, I went to 15, technically 16, because I have like the little asterisk next to
Right.
Sorsby, trying to figure out what the hell is going to happen there.
Yeah.
So I have 16 that I feel confident that could or should be drafted or will. You know what I mean? Like, that's nuts.
I
no,
think
sure.
if I had to say,
I only have
got 20.
I
that
got
think
16.
could be drafted. Yeah. This is not surprising to me.
But
though.
I switched to should/will. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Well,
Like,
right,
it's
right,
going
right.
to
And
be
again,
more than 13.
Yeah, I do feel. I think 15 seems like a good number this year, just looking at the players that are there. Because 15 and my very early, I haven't really looked through things. I was just putting names down board. My 15th is like Byron Brown right now, who is in the same grouping as like Josh Hoover and Rocco Becht and guys like that. So
no, I just because I'm saying I've already said it's the deepest one. Let me rip through this. Now I only have 3 in my top 32, so that's different. I had more tackles,
I got
more
5.
wide receivers.
I got 5.
And I was going to say I could be persuaded to 4 very easily. The 3 that I have is Julian Sand, Dante Moore, and Arch Manning.
Sure,
I could very easily be persuaded into CJ Carr.
So I've actually got CJ Carr at my 6th spot right now with Lenora Sellers, who I refuse to quit. I don't care. And then Darian Mensah in there as well. And so those,
I have Sellers at 10.
Carr. Look, CJ Carr could be the best quarterback in this group by the end of this year. If he has the same year he had last year, he's going to be in that conversation. I don't know that he will. But
and at 5, I got Mestamaker. And like I say, if he can do the same thing at Okie State.
Oh, geez, yeah.
That's crazy.
Right. Yeah,
Dude, he got
Mestamaker's
Mensah,
a little
Raiola,
further down.
Chambliss, Mayava, Sellers, Levitt, Mateer.
I got Mestamaker a little further back because he hasn't done it above. Well, he's at 8 because at this moment because he hasn't done it at Oklahoma. And I'm an Oklahoma State fan. I'm looking forward to him.
So why in the hell do you have Sellers so high? Because he hasn't done it ever at any school. At least Mestamaker has done it at a school.
It's the flashes. And look, I'll tell you this right now.
I saw flashes in AR-15 too, and he let me down.
But at least Sellers has got enough starts under his belt, which is could either be a point for him or against him by the end of the season. Lenora Sellers 100% will be the biggest mover up or down on this board, I think, for me over the course of the season.
Probably.
Because there's a good chance he could go from 4 to 15 by the time we're there. I have no idea. It's going to be so good. I don't know, man. All right. Anything you want to wrap up with here on offense? I feel like we're in pretty good shape. It does feel like most of those position groups are pretty easy. 1 is above everybody else. 2 and 3 are real close for the rest of us. 4, 5, and 6 kind of feel like that's where they're sort of at. So at this point.
No, I guess the only thing I would say is going into this, I knew that quarterback was very likely the deepest.
Yeah.
As everybody does. But I think the shocker for me was just that for just the offense in general, you're talking about the deepest quarterback class we've seen, maybe definitely since we've been doing the show, maybe our lifetime. So
we're not
it could be,
necessarily
we'll see who comes out.
Yeah, we're not necessarily saying the 6-pack that happened a couple years ago that we won't have 6 quarterbacks at that level necessarily, but the depth of the group is definitely deeper.
Yeah. So with that being said, and then you factor in that the running back class, I'm just going these in a weird different order, is infinitely better than last year's class. Yeah. I've already made a case saying that I think wide receiver is better than last year's class. I've already said the offensive tackle is definitely better than last year's class. So all I'm saying is from an offensive perspective, and we know that the interior line could maybe change, offensively, this is going to be an insanely fun year.
Which tracks.
It's deep. It's just deep.
Well, because last year we talked about how it was going to be more of a defense draft, like when it comes to the higher end talent.
We'll see how we feel about defense too.
We'll come to that in a minute. We will get back to that. We will get JP's rant on some hockey related issues as well next time, since I took up all the time of ranting in this episode. But defense next time as we keep going with college football. Looking forward to next year. The Draft Guy.